This complex is a city within Montreal. Some call it the commercial center of Canada. What can it be? Welcome to Place Bonaventure. Built in 1964 to 1967 and officially opened on April 8, 1968, the 17-story multi-use building complex is an economic innovation that opened for business during Expo 67, and its design helped hide the underground Canadian National Railway. Located in the downtown core of Montreal, this building incorporates a wholesale merchandise center with 5 floors of offices, an underground shopping gallery that connects the building to the subway and the railway, a luxurious 401-room rooftop hotel, a gigantic convention hall, auction rooms, and an underground parking. The Concordia Construction Company was the general contractor of the project. The Concordia Estates Limited was the client, and Place Bonaventure Incorporation was the owner. In order to finish the construction in time for Expo 67, the city's planning department helped the Concordia Construction Company. At the time it was built, the construction cost $80 million, today's equivalent to more than $233 million, and it was the second largest building in the world. Place Bonaventure contributed to moving Montreal's downtown area from Old Montreal to René Lévesque Boulevard. Built over the rails of the Canadian National Railroad Company and the Ville-Marie Expressway, this complex, occupying 306,577 square meters, is a whole fortified city within the city of Montreal. The outside reveals nothing of the developed programming feat inside. Place Bonaventure fills the entire area of its 6-acre city block and encloses a key pedestrian underground city network to neighboring buildings, Central Station, and other public transportation. For example, it links the complex to the Bonaventure Metro Station, Place Ville-Marie, and the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. However, the architecture of Place Bonaventure was rejected by many, who deemed it to be turned inwards, insensitive to the surrounding environment, and turning its back on the street. While appearing forbidding from most sides, the hotel entrance is much more welcoming. See how beautiful it is today? Nevertheless, large business companies in the building epitomized the mastery of their technical skills and the predominance of service industry, which is what attracted people to the building, making it the new business core in a large urbanized area relying for its density on its own downtown center. This was an important aspect representing part of Montreal's identity during this time period, and it really supported Benham's idea of having an urban architecture at the beginning of the 1960s that resolved conflicts between design and spontaneity, the large and the small, the permanent and the transient. There were many architects working together on this project. Raymond Affleck, best known for his work on Place Bonaventure and Place Ville-Marie, has been trained at McGill under Mr. Lasserre. He is very concerned about the quality of life in northern climates, and this is shown through Place Bonaventure's style. Guy-Édouard André-Joseph Desbarats is also an architect that has been working on Place Bonaventure. He was also a teacher, a dean, an author, and a consultant. He graduated from McGill, and in 1964, he became director of the Université de Montréal Architecture. Born in Athens, Dimitri Dimakopoulos arrived in Montreal in 1948 and was trained at McGill. Educated in Poland, Fred David Lebensold taught design in London until 1949, when he immigrated to Montreal and began teaching architecture at McGill. This Canadian architect, educator, and humanitarian did his architectural training at McGill, but graduated at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge. Hazen Edward Sis was very concerned with the progression of modern art and architecture. In 1970, those 5 architects formed ARCUP Associates, ARCUP standing for Architects in Co-Partnership. The architectural firm is known to give training to architectural graduates and to have a great influence on contemporary Canadian design development. Born in Vienna in 1930, Eva Vici has studied architecture at the University of Technical Sciences in Budapest and became an architect for the Architectural Institute of Residential Design. She arrived in Montreal in 1957 and, in the 1960s, became one of the exceptional women who were registered as Canadian architects, but she was even more exceptional because she was given the chance to work on Place Bonaventure, a big project that differed from what other women were forced to work on. As an associate of ARCUP, she acted as the head project designer. Vici, just like Raymond Affleck, had a big affinity for modernist forms. She was also the one who managed to have some green space on the roof of Place Bonaventure. There were 2 principal decision makers in the development of the complex: Jean Drapeau, mayor of Montreal, and Lucien Saunier, chairman of the Executive Committee of Montreal. They helped through the city planning department by granting construction permits and working with architects. The building was built before the arrival of the international visitors of the Expo 67. The Canadian National Railway was one of the clients of Place Bonaventure, as they were the owners of the land. Place Bonaventure was a place where businesses could promote their products, for example car shows and buying conventions, and it was also made for people who travel using public transportation. The aim of this complex was to create a communicative system of circulation linking the subway, railway, and the interior and exterior pedestrian networks. They also wanted to create a unique combination of facilities incorporating shopping, an exhibition hall, a merchandise mart, an international track center, and a hotel. Uniquely, the Wholesale Merchandise Center aimed to revolutionize the wholesale retail experience by bringing the customer directly to the vendor. At the time, the construction for Expo 67 was in full swing, and Montreal was projected to grow its population of roughly 3 million to 7 million by the end of the century. Place Bonaventure epitomized the spirit of euphoric optimism. Place Bonaventure was very successful at its opening in 1968. As for the building's appearance, there is geometric forms of traditional Mughal architecture. This promotes an optimistic image, since this form of architectural excellence is inspiring and shows confidence.